Welcome back to You Don't Know Ball. It's episode 10. Feel like a small but meaningful milestone. So, we had a ball out, get a little special guest. And today we are talking Bears, da Bears. And we got John here with us. John is the owner, sort of runner of Bear Down Blog, which is an Instagram page, which almost 50,000 followers. Pretty big deal. Diehard fan, Bears fan. So we're going to be talking all about the Chicago Bears. John here, appreciate you coming on, man. Why don't you give the viewers a little background on yourself, why you love the Bears so much, what kind of got this page started, and just a little background on yourself.
Yeah, no, happy to be here. I couldn't tell you where it started as a fan. Devin Hester running back the opening kickoff was one of the few events in my life that I'll never forget where I was. But what made me start Bear Down Blog? It's kind of a funny past few years of how it's gone. I grew up in a neighborhood with a bunch of guys that I grew up playing sports with. Some of my best friends, still best friends to this day. And it was like during COVID, we got in this argument after a few beers over Mitch Trubisky. I'm sure we've all been there as Bears fans, and I was defending him. And one of my best friends said, "Well, you don't have like a page or anything. Like, what does your opinion mean?" And I was like, "You know what? You're right. You're right. I don't have anything." So I was like, "Why don't I? It's COVID. I got a lot of time on my hands. Let me just start a blog, see where it goes." Kind of transition into a podcast for about a year, and then really now it's just Instagram and Twitter content. So it's interesting, roller coaster of what Bear Down Blog's gone through since it started in COVID. Blog, the podcast, and just content. But that's kind of a little bit about Bear Down Blog.
Yeah, of course. So I saw 2020 in your bio. I figured it was around COVID time. I'm just interested, so real quick, like how long did you have to post before you really started to see some traction on your page and getting like a huge following?
Yeah, great question. So I went to Illinois Wesleyan University and I helped run the Barstool account there my junior and senior year. So I had like an understanding of kind of how to grow a social media following. So basically every day for 2 years, I would post at least once a day, if not twice a day, to try to just get consistent with the content and get people following. Um, and it kind of started there, but it didn't take off until probably a year and a half, 2 years into it, and it was the most random reason of why it kind of blew up. If you guys remember the video of Javon Wims punching C.J. Gardner Johnson in the
Yeah,
face,
yeah.
Yeah.
I just posted that, and it was like 6 or 7 months after it actually happened, so it wasn't even like relevant in terms of when it happened time wise, and it got over 1 million likes, and that's where I like started to get a bunch of followers. I think I had like under 10,000 before that, and it shot up literally like 20 or 30,000. I'm sure a lot of them are bots.
Mhm.
Um, but that's how I like kind of got a base level of like I don't know if you call them fans, but followers that started really paying attention to the account. So I have Javon Wims. I wouldn't call him a Bears legend. I was really rooting for him until he just pissed down his leg in that playoff game against the Saints and dropped that flea flicker from Mitch.
Oh,
But
dude, I
I
forgot
have them
about
to
that.
thank.
Yeah. Oh, dude,
I
that
have
was
them to thank
brutal.
for that.
Yeah, dude, that Saints playoff game, dude. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they have like a drop, or they were coming at, because they were down like what, 20, and then I remember they had this touchdown at the end to one of their tight ends, and they almost low key like within a couple points, like, right?
It
Or
was it was the most Bears thing to happen of all time. I feel like also a lot of people forget about that as a playoff game because it was COVID, and I think it was the year they added an extra like spot in the playoffs.
yeah,
But yeah, Jimmy Graham, one of the
that was it.
sickest
Yeah.
one-handed catches I've probably seen. It was just meaningless, and he caught the touchdown. No time on the clock. He caught the touchdown, didn't celebrate, ran right into the locker room. It's like we can't even enjoy a sick catch like that because our season's over. This is how our season's gonna end, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember watching that game at a buddy's house, and I was like, dude, that was the craziest catch ever. But I don't think anyone really expected the Bears to win that game. But it was cool for them to at least get some playoff action. I think it was more the year. Was it the year prior when they expected like to literally be Super Bowl with Matt Nagy and then the Cody Parkey field goal? That was the year before, right? Or was that the year after?
Probably it was either 2019 or 20. No, yeah, it was
Yeah,
2020. 2018 was our playoff year. 2019 was kind of like where it started going downhill a little bit, and then 2020 was that playoff game during COVID.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, it feels like ever since then things have been going. I mean, hopes are getting up, and then they just get end up crushed.
Yeah.
But this year, hopes are up, man. I mean, so look, 0-2 start, got three strong wins, pretty gritty wins. I thought the Raiders win was probably that was the toughest game up to this point. Like you got to go on the road to Vegas, riding high after the Cowboys, and they stuck in there. The Raiders with the backs against the wall, that was really impressive for me to see. And then you go in here, come off the bye, and stun the Commanders. Like, first of all, I wouldn't say You Don't Know Ball is headquartered in DC, but in a sense it is right now. So I was there at the game. First of all, if you go to FedEx Field, the rumors were that that was the trash stadium of the league, and I think it lived up to that hype because we get there, I buy 50-yard seats expecting to get this primo view. We get there, there's literally a pole in front of us,
No
and
way.
so so we had to try to finesse our way to get some better seats down there. But anyways, it was a cold, rainy game, but dude, Bears won. Three turnovers that were probably the story of the game. I wouldn't say the Commanders handed them that game at all. I know that there's some people on Twitter and stuff claiming, oh, the Commanders or the Bears got lucky. Even Troy Aikman on the broadcast saying they got lucky and stuff. So, what was your initial reaction from the big Commanders win? I would say.
Um, I got a little bit nervous before kickoff because I realized like I mean you knew because you're in DC, but like I didn't realize the forecast was all rain. And that changes things because we had the worst rush defense in the NFL heading into that game, and the Commanders had the best run offense. And then it didn't like really rain that much during like throughout the game. I was surprised. Like I checked the forecast and stuff, but I mean, revenge game like lived up to the hype. Like as Bears fans, like until we beat that same Commanders team, we couldn't move past like that what happened last year. So,
Yeah.
um, initial reaction, our defense, our run defense actually played really well for the first time this year, which was encouraging to see. We keep coming up with the turnovers. I hope it keeps happening. Um, and then offensively, the run game looked good for the first time this year. I think Theo Benedect, his first start on the offensive line, the rookie, I think he helped with that. So it was good to see DeAndre Swift get going. And then one thing I told myself before that game, like not even joking, like I said it out loud, I was like, please God, do not allow this game to come down to a Jake Moody field goal. Like I already see this happening and I don't want it to happen. And it did. And it worked out. And he was literally the reason we won that game. Um, so obviously very exciting the way that it ended. I don't think the Commanders gave us that game. Obviously they had Terry McLaurin and Noah Brown out, so like they had some studs out, but um, I mean, the refs were working against us again. Like I think we won that game. Did we deserve to win that game? We were getting in our way in terms of like penalties, like getting in our own way. But I mean, the game, just like the Raiders game, games that we would almost 100% of the time lose in the past, like without a doubt, we find ourselves in a position. And I think there's a lot to say about say what I know the fan base isn't divided, but there's some people that still like don't believe in Caleb and the
Yeah.
future with him, which I can't understand. But like, say what you want about him, he put us in a position on the last drive, these last two games, to win the game, and we won. So without him driving down the field and those two possessions, we wouldn't have won those games. So very encouraging. Um, get the monkey off our back from last year, and then head into like a manageable matchup Sunday at home against the Saints. So huge shift in the right direction the past 2 weeks. And sorry, I rambled there. The last thing that I'll say,
Mm.
you guys
Yeah.
might, well, you were actually at the game, so you probably didn't see this. The Bears have been historically awful off of bye weeks, which is hard to imagine because it is an advantage. It is an advantage. You have a week extra of preparation. There's no reason why coming off a bye week you should be bad. We were 1-10 in our past 11 games coming off a bye week. So we also, I feel like, proved that okay, we can be good off the bye week with Ben Johnson. We came in prepared with the game plan. We can get rid of that notion too now that like we're actually a manageable team. So that's what I would say about the game.
Yeah.
Dude.
Holtz, I just want to tell you another thing. You were at the game. Me and John were watching the game. I forget if it was Troy Aikman or Joe Buck at the beginning. It was like, I could see this game coming down to a Hail Mary. And I was like, that is the craziest stray of all time. I was
Dude.
That
like,
was a war crime.
I
I
was like,
remember exactly what
what?
he said. I was like, dude, why would you say that? Like,
Was he being
you don't
serious
even
or he
know.
was definitely
No,
joking,
he
no?
had, it's almost like he didn't know it was a joke. They weren't laughing. Were they laughing? Or
I
no,
mean, we
right?
can have a whole segment on Troy Aikman and the way that he was calling that game. I don't know what he has against Caleb
It,
Williams, but
I was
Jack,
like, what?
did you hear him on the Caleb Williams touchdown that he scored the rushing touchdown? He was
insane.
like, "Oh, Caleb was just jogging." It's like, dude, he was at a dead sprint to the end zone. If he wasn't in a dead sprint, he wouldn't have got there. Like, how do you what? Like, what a weird way to call a
Yeah, I
touchdown.
saw the replay. He was like focusing on the DeAndre Swift block or not, like whiffing on the block or something. And I'm like,
Yeah,
dude,
it's like Troy, come on, man. Like, it's too obvious. I don't know if like
yeah.
Caleb like hooked up with his daughter or something or what, but like, oh, you know what? It probably is. Troy Aikman's a UCLA guy. Caleb went to USC. Maybe it has something to do with that.
That
Ooh,
that
yeah,
could
that's a
be
good
it.
point.
Yeah. And Holtz, you
That's a
got
good
anything
that's a
else?
good
I
point
mean,
because or what's up?
I was gonna say, John, you mentioned they defended the run very well, I thought, and I think a big part of that was Tremaine Edmonds. What do you think about him? He defended the pass well. I think he's really developing into a good player, like a good defensive player. I don't know if you expected that off the get go.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Good point. I think he's kind of been like I don't want to say non-existent because that's not the right word, but like
Hmm.
unnoticeable, which could be a
Yeah.
good thing, like playing linebacker. But like hasn't made like aside he's had a lot of interceptions the past 2 years, so I'll give him credit for that.
Hmm.
He plays really fast, but like there hasn't been many moments where you're like, wow, like what a play by Tremaine Edmonds. And they said on
Yeah.
the
Hmm.
broadcast yesterday
Yeah.
too, it seemed like he was just really being more aggressive and flying to the ball better. I
Hmm.
forgot what play it was, maybe on an end around or something, but he came up
Hmm.
like 5 yards in the backfield and made a tackle. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it could have something to do with TJ Edwards being back. I know TJ
Yeah.
Edwards, I think he led the NFL in tackles last year. Also, like more of a
Hmm.
quieter guy. Like he just does all like the gritty work, but he
Hmm.
also calls the defense. Um, so maybe our play caller on defense being back on the field really helped with Trumaine in terms of making calls and letting him be who he can be.
Yeah. He seemed like a game changer. I know throughout the first half specifically, but also throughout the second half. Yeah.
Yeah, he was interesting to me because I feel like he was the first big like free agent signing when in the polls era that were like, holy shit, the Bears just made like this splash, like dude,
Hmm.
because he was pretty good on the Bills. I think he was definitely a Pro Bowler, so it's
Yeah.
exciting to see him like pick up the pace a little bit.
For
Um,
sure.
but but John, in your ramble, I feel like we can go off a lot. You listed a lot of stuff that I want to get into, but starting with the run game. So the run game looks good. Obviously, the first couple weeks we were questioning. I personally thought the run game was going to be the issue for the Bears this season. DeAndre Swift. You don't really have a bruiser. I know Roshan Johnson was hurt a little bit, but you need someone that can really run it inside the tackles. But I'm just interested, was this DeAndre Swift run game almost a fluke because it was just rainy and the Commanders don't have a good defensive line? Or like you mentioned, the offensive line looked really good. Is like, what is your take on the current running back situation? Because I know that's also a topic at the trade deadline. There's still rumors, are the Bears going to go target someone like Brees Hall or Alvin Kamara? So are you confident in the run game moving forward? Does this game give you some hope for it? Or
That's a great question. I like DeAndre Swift a lot. I understand why Bears fans think he's not an RB1. I think he's very good running in the open field. He can be explosive and a big play guy like on that pass last night that he scored on. Like when you get him in the open field, he's very dangerous. I think where he struggles is his vision within like the tackles and getting those tough yards like when we need them on like first and second down, which I like that's fine with me because I think he is super talented and we can utilize him for who he is. The reason I'm fine with that is because we have a guy like well literally Kyle Monangai. We got a guy Monangai, and then Roshan too that can solve for the in between the tackles running and getting those tough yards. What I've been surprised by is we haven't used them as much as I thought, especially Roshan. We actually gave him 2 or 3 carries Monday night, so maybe like they're phasing him back into the offense. But Nungai, I like a lot too. I think he is a great change of pace running back when we take out DeAndre Swift. I think we need to utilize him a lot more because he does what DeAndre doesn't. It gets those tough yards and just hits holes. Um, so I think
Mhm.
our offensive line too. Like I think you're slowly starting to see this team come together like in each unit with the all the new coaches that came in. New playbook, new faces, a lot of young guys. I think now that we're in whatever it is, week 5, week 6, you're starting to see it come to fruition. Where the first few weeks it's brand new. It's not supposed to look good. It's a brand new system. It's a brand new coaching staff. So I think it's kind of a product of that. Like guys are starting to figure it out. Um, and
Mhm.
they're starting to find a rhythm, and it's been very, very rewarding to see so far.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, and I love the new system. It's awesome. And the old system didn't work last year, obviously. We're not gonna beat the dead horse on that one. 5-12. But what about DJ Moore? I feel like he could be involved more in this offense. I feel like he is involved. Is he a true wide receiver one? Like we see Rome Odunze flourishing. Is that like a 1A, 1B? I know last year, not that it worked, whatever, a lot of designed passes scripted towards DJ Moore. We've seen
Yeah.
a little bit of that, but not a ton. What do you think? What do you about the run
Let me
game? Like, where do you
Let me
see
jump in
DJ
here real
Moore?
quick and add on to that question because I
Yeah,
know DJ Moore, there's like something going on with his groin. I know he stayed overnight in
yeah,
the
that
hospital
too.
versus Commanders. So, like, because I was interested too. I'm like, why is, I mean, Roma Dunze seems like he's the top. I mean,
Stud.
he should be as he is. But yeah, DJ Moore has been getting really uninvolved. So, what's the deal with him now? What's the latest?
It's a great question. I I don't know if like it has to do. I don't know. There's so many like different factors that could go into it. I and I know like a lot of people have been like upset with him with his body language and him not being as involved. I think that's just naturally how he is.
Mhm.
Because I think he does care. Like, and he seems like a good teammate. And I didn't watch the clip, but like I saw on Twitter towards the end of the game when he was really hurt, he had a huge block downfield like effort play. Um, I
Mhm.
think honestly, it's just a product of Ben Johnson's like mastermind calling the offense. We don't have to be as reliant on one receiver. Where
Hmm.
DJ Moore the past 2 years has been a number one receiver, I think he's very worthy of being a number one receiver. He can be our number one receiver if we want him to be, but he doesn't have to be in Ben Johnson's offense. And I think that's why you've seen a guy like Roma Dunze really step up and be our number one receiver this year because one, we have a lot more options in terms of the talent that we have, and we have a lot more of a creative mind behind who's calling our plays. So I think it's a product of multiple things. I think we can definitely rely on him when we need him, but we just don't have to rely on him as much. And obviously now, like other teams and defenses are starting to figure that out. But I'm sure the first 3, 4 weeks, everyone was keying in on DJ, like, oh, he'll be the number one guy. Let's make sure we keep an eye on him. Versus now, what's good for us is teams are probably like, well, who should we key on? Should we key on Rome? Should we key on DJ? Obviously, like Luther Burden and a lot of Masakias are getting more involved in the offense, and I'd like to see them get more footballs their way too. But I think it's a product of us being harder to predict as an offense. It's a
Mhm.
complementary thing, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, dude, with Ben Johnson's new scheme, like I 100% get your point. I also feel like being the number one guy definitely is someone that the defense has got to pay attention to, and that's what's opening a lot of stuff up for Rome. I know we love talking about AJ Brown here, me and Jack, and I feel like it's kind of a similar situation in a sense. Not saying that those two guys are the equal parts, but like when defenses are keen on the number one, it's going to open up a lot for the number two, and that just allows Ben Johnson to get a lot of other stuff going. I'm a little disappointed though in why they aren't using Colson Loveland like as much as you used a high first round pick on this guy, yet we're really not seeing the production that we expect. Cole Kmet, I don't know the stats off my head, but it seems like he's getting more targets than Loveland, even though Kmet has been pretty ass this year. I mean, I watched the Raiders game, that was bad. He's missing blocks consistently. So why is Loveland not getting more time than him? I have no idea, but that's one thing that I'm confused what Ben Johnson's thinking there, but like maybe there's some stuff behind the scenes.
Yeah,
So,
I didn't like the pick, but like I talked myself into it afterwards. I wanted Tyler Warren. I thought he was like I wasn't excited about us taking a tight end at 10, but
mhm,
if we were going to take one, it was going to be a guy like Tyler Warren who is yeah, he's a tight end, but like he doesn't play like a tight end. He does so many different things, like the way Penn State used him and the way that you're seeing the Colts use him now too.
oh yeah.
Obviously it's like it's early to say, but man, would would our offense really benefit from having a guy like Tyler Warren? I don't know. I don't know if he's still like getting used to being in the NFL, like getting used to like learning the playbook. I don't think it's, but I'll say I don't think it's like his fault. I just think we don't use him as much.
Hmm.
So I would kind of put it on Ben Johnson, where like heading into the season we were like, oh, we have two dynamic tight ends. We have Cole Kmet and Loveland, just like the Lions had Hawkinson, and then I forgot who else they had, but they like used their tight ends really well. Um,
Hmm.
and we just haven't seen that. And Cole Kmet has been a disappointment so far. I'm a Cole guy, but man, like just like all the shit that he's been through on this team from the start, like I want to see him like reap the rewards and be successful now that he
Yeah.
finally has an opportunity to like be on a good team. And yeah, the Raiders game, he had two bad drops. I mean, when he catches the ball, he's really tough to tackle. But he
Hmm.
had the Raiders game was the first game too where I was really pissed at him. Like he had like two offside penalties. I think he had another holding penalty. It's like Cole, dude, like you
Dude,
are
the
a
Raiders
captain. You are the
game
leader on this team. We can't have
saw.
these right now.
Yeah, I'm sure you saw the play where it was like Caleb Williams makes this insane evades a sack. He's rolling out right, evades Max Crosby, and throws like a dot. I think this was with a couple seconds left in the second half. Throws a dot down the sideline, full sprint. Like it was a tough catch, but like, dude, you got to help your quarterback on that because that would have been all over the NFL if that's a highlight play. If he catches that ball, I was disappointed more in that. I mean, you can name the other drops too, but like just little stuff like that, you gotta come up big if you're gonna be the guy over Loveland, especially now. But yeah, that
Yeah,
was
that play. I know exactly what player you're talking about. Like all Caleb did to just get rid of the ball and put it where it was. Like I think that's one thing like Caleb really excels at is those throws on the run near the sidelines and just whipping it downfield on the sideline.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was
yeah,
pissed too. I was like, damn, we just ruined what could have been a sick play. And then the other
yeah.
drop for Cole, we were really lucky it wasn't intercepted because it tipped right off his hands and it would have been a
Mhm.
pick for the Raiders in the red zone. I think we ended up with 3 on the board. Obviously, would have loved 7, and that would have been a touchdown if he caught it.
Yeah.
So like there's a lot of time left in the season, a lot of time for him to start making plays and make up for those 2 games. But yeah, it's been. I feel bad for him, truly.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, as we start to wrap this up, let's go over the schedule, talking about the future. I think Cole's going to turn it around. I was high on him going into the year. I was a Warren guy over a Loveland guy because I thought Kmet really solidified himself in this offense. Like, it wasn't like the Colts went after a tight end because they needed a tight end. That's why I didn't understand the pick at 10th overall because I thought Cole Kmet was a good tight end, like a middle
Hmm.
tier, middle upper tier tight end. But next week, New Orleans must win. Like, that's must win. You can't lose that. Rattler's been playing good ball. I'm going to hand it to him. Got to win that. You go to Baltimore. You hope Lamar's not playing, but he's probably going to be playing.
Hmm.
Holtz, do you know anything on his status?
They,
I think he's.
bro. So looking at their schedule, I don't know the current status on Lamar. He might. I think he was seen on the practice field today. Actually, I might have got a notification on that. But
Yeah,
when you look at the Bears' next 4 games, they gotta win 3 out of the next 4
got
because
to win.
They got the Saints, they got the Ravens, they got the Bengals, and the Giants. 4 like games they should win. They on paper they got more talent than because after
Yeah.
that they got to go on the road to Minnesota. They got to host the Steelers on the road to Philly, on the road to Green Bay. That's a brutal 4 game stretch. When you hit the Minnesota Vikings again, another division matchup, you got to go in there with 6 wins because those are some tough games. I don't know if they're going to be at Minnesota. If they do, I would be very impressed. But like when you look at their schedule, the biggest game of the year, it's going to come down to the last week, week 18 versus the Lions because they got to take a game from the Lions. They can't lose 2 games, otherwise they got no shot for the division. I don't know what the wild card season is going to look like, but you got to beat that final game at the Lions. That's what I'm going to keep my eye on. But like we said, you got to win the next 3 out of the next 4 at least, and then you'll see what the other division matchups go. But
Yeah,
yeah,
John, I might have you plug your ears for this one. The game of the year was week 1 against the Vikings. You can't drop that game looking back. I think we're going to be week 16 right now. We lose to Green Bay again, and we're like, fuck, I wish I had that Vikings game 1 back. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that
It
one.
hurts my stomach. I'm
mhm,
so sorry to say that. Oh my God.
Yeah, that hurt because we were so ready to just turn over the table. Like, all right, like let's win now, and everything looks so good. And then it was just like one of those games where you're like, wait, what just happened? We were
Yeah.
yeah,
dominating. JJ
Hmm.
McCarthy, like he was resilient, but like he looked bad for the first two and a half,
Horrible.
3 quarters.
Yeah.
And
then you made him look like
then
MVP. Like,
yeah, the Deshaun Wright pick six. I was laughing. I was like, "There's no
oh
way that just happened." Like, who is
Oh my
Deshaun
God.
Wright? First of all, second of all,
yeah,
pick six in that situation. But to the Ravens game, they said like I think last week that Lamar will be back for that game. So I don't
Okay.
like. I think that we can beat the Ravens. but like I don't know what to make of the Ravens yet because they have so much talent. One of the best teams in the NFL last year and the past 4 or 5 years. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're what's their record now? 1-4.
Yeah, they got one way. Unreal. Because, dude, as of the Bills game, I thought the Ravens were, on paper, the most elite team. Like, I thought there
My
was a
Super Bowl
huge gap
favorite.
between
Yeah.
them and anyone else. I don't know how they lost the Bills game in week one, but it was just completely downhill.
Derrick Henry fumbles,
The
man.
Derrick Henry fumbles, like, that was
His fall
brutal.
off is crazy. I
Jair
mean, he's
Alexander
been so
getting his
good for so
ankles broken
long.
and shit.
Love to see that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you can. The thing is, the Bears are a team that can beat Baltimore on any given day,
Yeah.
but you can afford to lose to Baltimore if you go and beat
Right.
Cincinnati and beat the Giants, which should happen. Knock
I have
on
a
wood.
weird
You come
feeling
home.
about the Giants game. I don't know. I feel like Jackson
They're a
Dart. I feel
franchise.
like Jackson Dart and Scadaboo are gonna have some fun. I don't know if we're
Mhm.
gonna. I wouldn't say we're gonna lose, but like I feel like Cam Scadaboo's gonna score at least once or twice against us.
I feel like he's been
Yeah,
scoring every
that's
week now. Like,
disappointing.
geez.
They're like the
But
up and coming team right, not up and coming team, but like they're the fun team right now.
They're
Everyone's like,
so
wait,
fun.
yeah,
They're so
yeah, I think
fun.
they're really fun. Like
Oh,
I agree.
yeah.
I'm eating
And
my
then
words, bro, because we were on here. I was talking all this shit about Jackson. I'm like, dude, they can't bring him in. Russell Wilson, he's still
Yeah.
good. Moonball. We've seen the preseason highlights, and yeah, now look where it's at. So I'll own up to that take for all our day one listeners. That was week one on the pod. So yeah, my fault
Yeah.
there. But yeah, so what is the Bears' ceiling? I want to go back to Ben Johnson really quick because I'm a believer. Obviously, the tides have turned. The Bears are the NFL's only team to score at least 21 points in every game this season. If that doesn't show you how this offense has turned, that stat right there does. He's the screen designs that we were seeing in at least the Commanders game too. Like the different motions they're doing. This is peak Ben Johnson. This is what we expected when we brought him in. Very excited for me to see and just how he's holding his guys disciplined and he is locked in on those sidelines. Like you see him in the reporter's straight face, everything. We saw the interview with the reporter at halftime versus the Raiders where he was like asked a question. I don't know. You think so? Like locked in. Like he's fucking locked in. And that's exactly. Going back to camp too, I don't know if you remember the Luther Burden incident where like he didn't know the plays and he like blasted him, pulled him out. Like little stuff like that just gets me fired up and hopeful that this is the season that we can actually be a playoff team. So going off of Ben Johnson, back to the original question, what is the Bears' ceiling? Like how many wins do you think they can actually get to if with this current state of the team
this year, you're saying?
this year? Yes.
All right, let's just go week by week, and I might
Mm-hmm.
need some help in terms of like the opponents. So we have the Saints on Sunday. I
Yep.
think it's a win. Put us at 4-2.
Then you're in Baltimore.
In Baltimore, say it's a loss, 4-3. After
Mm-hmm.
that, Bengals,
Cincinnati at Cincinnati.
5-3.
You come home. You play New York
6-3.
Giants. Yeah.
Yeah. Gets us
You
6
gotta mark
wins.
that as a win. And then you're at Minnesota.
I think we need that. We need division wins. We don't have any division wins, so
Yeah,
like that's
that's
going
the
to be
problem.
huge. And I think we can win that game. I don't know. We'll see what how the Vikings turn out this year. I think they started off really hot, and I think it's starting to come back to reality a little bit. I think JJ McCarthy's great, but let's say 7-3.
Yeah.
That'll be the
I'm with
turning
that.
point of the season. Like you beat the Vikings, you're invincible. Like you guys like head full of steam into now you're coming back home against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Rodgers looked
I hate
great.
Aaron Rodgers, man. I hate him.
Oh.
But I feel like out of the games we just discussed, we'll be fair. Let's say 7-4. We lose at home to the Steelers.
Dude, I can already see the NFL posts and those posts of Aaron Rodgers. I still own you to the Bears. Like I can already
Just
see that
glazing
happening.
him. Yeah.
Yeah, glaze.
Chris Collinsworth style.
Yeah, really.
7-4. Who's after Pittsburgh?
At Philly.
Yeah.
Nah, no way.
Black Friday
I mean,
game.
actually, now like maybe like there's a chance, but no. 7-5.
Mhm.
At Green Bay.
All right, I'll say we win one of those games against the Packers. I don't know if
So
it'll be
you
at
lose.
Green Bay.
Yeah, you lose in Green Bay, even though you
Ca-
did good on the road recently.
Caleb Williams undefeated in Lambeau.
Yeah, so
So we'll say
Yeah.
with those two games, we'll say 8-6,
1-1.
one win,
yeah,
one loss.
1-1.
Who
So
else?
in between the two Green Bays, you play at home versus Cleveland. That should be a win.
Yeah, 9-6.
Mhm.
And then you play at a beat up San Francisco team that might be healthy at that point.
That's a tough one. At San Fran, there's
I'm
no
supposed
way
to go
they
to
win
that game too. Yeah.
That'd be sweet. Yeah.
Let's say it's
And
a
then-
loss. So 9-7.
It's gonna come down. Game of the year. I'm
season
telling you,
finale.
Lions Bears. They gotta win it. It's gonna be the game
you're
of the year.
right, Sam. Yeah, it's gonna
It's
come
gonna
down
be
to
Sunday night
Detroit,
prime
Week
time.
18.
It's gonna be Collinsworth. We're gonna be watching it. Winner gets in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
Man,
Dude,
I
I can
think I
see.
think I think we got to the way that this team is going, the way that Ben Johnson coaches, the way this culture is being built. If you think that though, like this entire organization isn't going to be fired the fuck up heading into that last game at home, a chance because we got our asses kicked in Detroit. Like can't say I was surprised about that game. I like the ass kicking. Like, yeah, that was disappointing. Felt bad for Ben Johnson, but Ben Johnson is psychotic, and I love that. And if you think he's not going to have us prepared, like to get that back and like have a little revenge of this season and get a win against his former team, like I think he's going to like treat that like a Super Bowl. So I say we win
yeah,
that game. So that puts us at 10-7, 10-8,
10-7,
10-7.
10-7,
That's a playoff.
or 10-8. Yeah,
That's a wild card spot.
Yeah. I think the issue too, I mean, the NFC North looks like the best division in football, right? Like all these
unfortunately.
teams are pretty legit playoff teams. And the thing with it's tough, dude, because I don't know. I feel like Dan Campbell is kind of gonna have Ben Johnson's number. I just got a feeling. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping that, like you said, Ben Johnson is just chaotic enough to literally like he's not sleeping that week preparing for that. But like, yeah, I mean, dude, it's gonna be interesting to see. Like, hoping that the best, but if we get into the playoffs, anything can happen, and I'm very excited. Do you think that like now looking long term? Like the Super Bowl window is like that's what we're all talking about. Bears Super Bowl. I feel like we say it every single year, every time they get off to a win. I'm joking with my brother. Oh, Bears Super Bowl year, Bears Super Bowl. Is there a chance? Like obviously there's a chance, but realistically, do you see it happening in the next 5 years?
Yeah. I thought you were gonna ask this season, and I was actually gonna
No, not
jump
this
into
season.
that,
Not
and that
this
would have been
season.
really delusional. But
Yeah,
no, I think that's why that's the whole point of the moves that we made in the past. Yeah, could you say obviously like we're trying to win a Super Bowl, but we, I mean, the moves that we made were quite the opposite of that in terms of the coaches that we brought in,
yeah.
and the way the direction of the team was going. Yeah, I mean, I think I wouldn't be surprised if Ben Johnson, his expectation heading in obviously depends on what happens this season, but like I wouldn't be surprised next season if you start to hear like from the coaches and press conferences and the players like we're here to win a Super Bowl next year, depending on how
Mhm.
this season finishes out. And if we go to a wild card, maybe we win a game, win a playoff game, then and we have that confidence heading into next year and only get better. Like year two of Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson's offense, year two and Dennis Allen's defense, guys start to really understand the playbook, have a culture, are fired up to be here. I think it's very realistic in the next 5 years. Obviously dependent on this season, but that's what we're shooting for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Honestly, I'm
awesome.
looking at the
Yeah,
latest Coach of the Year odds. Ben Johnson is at number 6 right now with Coach of the Year. I mean, I believe it. He's like we've mentioned, we've been glazing him low key this podcast, but
He's
rightfully
only
so.
sixth. I'm surprised. I feel like he'd be higher.
Yeah,
Who else is
Liam
up there?
Cohen's up there.
he's been good.
The
Yeah,
Colts
the Colts has been
coach,
incredible. I don't even
Mike
know how.
McDonald, Seahawks. Jim Harbaugh is still there too. I
Yeah,
don't know
I mean,
why.
I would say Ben Johnson has to start winning in the division probably, and that would boost him up a little bit, like win division games, and then you could really start thinking about him as you said, coach of the year, right?
Coach of the Year. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely would be interesting to see. But yeah, that basically wraps it up, John. I appreciate you coming on. This was a great time for all our Bears fans. Hope you guys enjoy the pod.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you,
but
John. Guys, down below, bear down underscore blog. Go give him a follow. As
John,
always,
are
you
you
don't
doing
know
anything else
ball.
besides Bear Down Blog? I know you mentioned a podcast. Is it just Instagram or just
What is
Twitter?
Just
it, right?
Instagram. Not as of right now. We had a podcast, but it kind of fell through. So as of right now,
Mm,
it's just Instagram and Twitter. Pure content.
Sweet.
awesome,
Sounds
man.
good. As
Awesome. But
always, guys, you don't know ball, but we do. Thank you.
yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in.
Thanks, John.